unholy mess that unfolded in Adelaide on Saturday night. It finished off the Crows' season. It has left the state of South Australia in uproar, and it does beg the question how the score review system could fail so badly.
And suddenly Petrarca, who's a thumping kick, buys himself a metre or two. He kicks it long. It's really long. I don't think it's been touched.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, there is insufficient evidence to determine if the ball is touched. Decision on scoreboard.
It's a really tough one. I don't mind it the way it is at the moment. I think our game's a ripping game. We don't need to do much to make it any better. Just hope that doesn't happen to us, because I am probably one of the most one-eyed Crow supporters at the moment, and I just think we get cheated every week. I just think we get cheated every week. Cheated every week.
Keys could be the goal of his life. Opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. One for the ages.
Hooks it back, kicks on its way. He's got it. Unbelievable scenes.
Snaps around Keysy, goes there. Oh no!
Snaps on the left. He's there.
No! It's touched the post. They're celebrating. They don't know.
Oh no! Point. Hit the post. Go. Look at this. Ben Keys is saluting with the front row, but Sydney have the ball. It's hit the post. No, it's hit the post. It's hit the post. I don't believe it.
I'll call a point.
The post.
Call a point. It's a point.
It was a goal umpiring decision that should have been reviewed, and that was a mistake. I want to say conclusively that if the decision had been reviewed, it would have been overturned, and it would have been a goal.
Siren, one for the ages. The crowd boo.
An unbelievable fight back. The Crows' season is over in a heartbreaker.
Cheated and robbed.
They lose by a point.
Cheated and robbed.
We look at the game and we sit down and go, how did we lose this game of footy? We lost it in quarter 1 and 2.
If there was a score review, you'd be looking at a loss.
Is that?
Looks that way.
What is it?
Not sure who broke a mirror this year or what we've done, but we just don't seem to be able to find a way to win those. Or maybe we just got to be a little bit better.
That's it. That is definitive. There is no grey area there. The league cannot say it was grey. They have to say we got it wrong, and it is costing a team a berth in the finals.
Leaves a real sour taste in your mouth, to be honest. It's as big a mistake as I can remember.
And we can't get that right. That's kid stuff.
I want to acknowledge that it was a mistake, and I want to take accountability for the mistake on behalf of the league.
We're so disappointed, and we've got to hold the AFL to account. We hold ourselves to account, and all businesses run the ruler over how can they improve. We need to do the same, because we've been mistreated. We feel this is unfair.
The crowd has seen the replay and they are furious.
Cheated and robbed.
Swans win by the barest possible margin.
And it continues unabated as we sit here on Monday nights. Totally unacceptable scenario for a game that means so much and for its status in this country. As the human error is one thing, and the human error is both difficult to grasp, but it is born out of systematic failure. And I feel years worth of frustration bubbling up on Saturday night, and it hasn't abated with me to any extent. A system that was fundamentally flawed in the way that it was introduced, a pretend system to try to capture the howler and save a bit of embarrassment here or there, rather than a system built of specified technology and refined, and with protocols and layers and rules and safeguards that all would have played a role in ensuring this didn't stand. This all starts with Tom Hawkins in off the cushion in the 2009 grand final, and we sat there as a community and said, no, you can solve this in real time with technology. And here we are 15 years later and we solve nothing in real time with technology.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, I think it was Matthew Lloyd, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It really does. And to be in the, in 2023 with the technology that we might have at hand and the ability to use other mechanisms that other sports use to mitigate all those decisions that might be, in the heat of the moment, under immense pressure, might be the wrong decision. There are no other layers other than that person making that mistake, referring it to the ARC for clarification. There is no other person in and around, either on the ground or upstairs, that can have a say in the outcome of that potential decision. Whether it be a captain's call, whether it be the ARC overrides, and whatever it is, as you said, we've put this system into place. It is the one mechanism to try to mitigate these big failures.
And it's as useful as what you can do at home with your Foxtel remote, is toggle it back and forward and the various angles that we showed you. Real systems are like, so I was thinking through all the different codes today. So the NHL, ice hockey, has a system where the score review operates while play continues, and at the next stoppage, they step in and they would award the goal to Adelaide, the ball would go back to the middle and the clock would be reset at 71 seconds. In the NFL, the safeguard is once you're inside the 2-minute warning, everything is done by the review booth for the very specific reason so they don't have a game decided by human error. They just take it back themselves. In cricket, you would be able to issue a captain's challenge to get some form of resolution as to how it transpired within your own power. And the gold standard is soccer, where they actually do spend the money on the technology and they get a real-time depiction of where the ball is in relation to the goal line and the post. So we won't do any of that, and the game is worth it. So this should be the absolute priority of the new chief executive, to build a system across the summer that has these layers and nuances and safeguards and technology in behind it, rather than just pretending we'll just grab the television views and see if we can figure out what happened. This system has failed repeatedly. It has embarrassed itself at times. The implementation of the ARC was at least a proper step to try to put some of it all together, but there is none of the specific technology being employed by the league to adjudicate its own game. And it's always been unacceptable. And if that was the very bottom level we were going to go to, we never should have implemented it. And what would have happened? We would have had this human error and everyone would have said, you could have fixed it with technology. Well, guess what? We didn't.
The only piece of technology that was worth looking at was the iPhone behind the
and this is the final insult. It's like the naked gun 33 1/3. The final insult is that the best angle is from a punter in the crowd.
Correct.
Come on.
I hadn't seen that angle until we showed it on that piece of vision there, and that is as clear as day. I don't subscribe to the, and I know why Matthew Nicks went along this path. We lost it in the first. We lost in the. You're allowed to make mistakes in our game if at the end of the game you're in front. They all dissipate. You can learn from them, but you give yourself a chance to win and a position to win, and Adelaide did that and they won the game, and they've been robbed of a finals experience. What that does to them next year, not having finals experience, and then the rest of the ladder, as we'll see, is jumbled as well. You're right, it's embarrassing.
No one wants to know about this stuff until it stuffs the season.
Yeah.
And it stuffed the season on Saturday night, because when you put up the ladder of what this should look like, this should be the greatest finish that the competition has ever known. And Adelaide is now denied the opportunity to go to West Coast and win their way
So they can't go anywhere from here to challenge the decision.
No.
It is what it is. We got it wrong.
And there was still 71 seconds to play. And that's why it has to be rectified in real time. That's why the NHL has the ability to go, yes, you can bring the ball back into play and continue on, but we're going to check this. And they just rule it off as dead time. So nothing that happened in that little period stands. We are going back to where the score was. We'll reset and the ball would have gone back to the middle with 71 seconds to go, and the Swans would have had a chance to win it and the Crows would have had a chance to defend it. But what truly happened would have been there. And I just thought, so heightened to it all, and triggered by it. I'm triggered by it and always have been. That the umpire's call that we're using at the moment. So last week, we looked at an umpire's call where we weren't quite sure what we were looking at. So these two umpires' call. Chances are that ball hit Jermaine Jones's leg.
Yep.
David Roden's got no prospect of making that call from that far away. The soft call is worth nothing.
Yep.
It shouldn't be there. That should have gone balance of probabilities, what's coming back. The ball hit his leg, it deflected. We're happy to overrule that and make it a behind. There shouldn't be a soft call. This one, we're saying that this hit Ryan Burton's arm definitively. We're overruling the goal umpire who had an exact view from reaching distance away as to where that landed. He was happy for it to be a goal. Then we're going to step in and overrule it. I think that ball probably hit his arm, just like I think the ball the week before with Marchbank probably missed everything.
Yeah.
So you have to put the parameters in place. The soft call is an impediment at times. Goal umpire should be allowed to say, I have no idea whether that ball's touched his leg or not. This is for the ARC to decide. I think it's hit Marchbank's right arm. Just check that for me. And because if we were checking the reached out fingers, it missed the fingers.
Yeah.
Let's be really specific in what the umpire's call is, because the philosophy of this system should be what can be solved should be solved. There is some that will always remain elusive, but we're not doing nearly enough to solve it. That's 2 years in a row. We had an elimination final. Richmond's season was determined by a really interesting and unusual reach, which might have been right, but it's not really in keeping with how it had been done. And then yesterday, Adelaide and a swag of other teams' fates is determined by just a rank error which could have been resolved by a proper system.
So do you think or hope or expect there to be change?
There will have to be change.
On the eve of finals?
No.
This year?
No. This is an off-season project
for
the new administration.
If we see that again in finals?
What we've just seen is we've seen second place determined by insufficient, and we've seen a place in the 8 determined by an error. So we are having real tangible ramifications out of this faulty system.